Hey guys, welcome back. So we are at the very last bit, and I just want to say before we dive in that if you've been with me on this journey from the first part till now, thank you so much. And if you like the video, and like what you see, you can consider liking the video on YouTube and also subscribing to my channel. That will really help me and encourage me to put out more content like this. And you can go all the way further to share this video to your friends or colleagues who might find it helpful as well. So you're awesome. Thank you. Right, let's dive in. Okay, so this is the juicer itself. This is where the magic happens, right? And we are going to be designing this together in Onshape. Okay, so I'm just going to go back up in my feature tree here, like so, and there we go. All right. So there are some pretty complex features that I used here, and some of them are due to the nature of the design, right? So if you notice this, the handle is not flat, right? It has a curve, right? A slight curve. So, and it's similar to how it looks on the product as well, right? So I needed some vertices or points to use, and so I had to resort to using an intersection curve like you see here, right? So let me turn that curve on so you can see, right? And what intersection curve does is at the intersection of two inputs that you give it, it generates a curve, right? So my inputs here are the front plane and this face right here, and that generated this curve, right? And yeah, so I needed that for this sketch. I needed that curve for this sketch, right? I needed it here, so that this kind of, because this here is offset of this, right? So unfortunately I can't do, right, can't start it from the beginning so as not to make the video too long, but you can follow, you can try to follow the sketch, then you can do that. So I'll try my best to explain what's happening, right? So but this is offset 1 mm, so yeah, that's why it's 1 mm. So and we have this. So let me hide this part so you can see the shape clearly, right? So 2.5, right? This is 4. We have 100 angle, right, of between these two lines and this horizontal, and yeah, total height 85. I think we need to see where that comes from. Yeah, from the bottom of the pan to the very top is 85, and so I had to fill in all of this to make a solid, because I was going to revolve a solid, right? But you see how I got from the solid to the thin piece, right? Basically a shell, but I wanted to use the shell command specifically, right? And that's why I had to start with a solid, right? And that's why I did not just do use the thin command initially, right? And you get to see why later, right? So this is a sketch, right? So you can copy this, and yeah, let's get on with it. And we do a revolve, right? So a solid revolve, basically. This is what we have. We hide the curves, right? And then another intersection curve, right? And this time it's between the right plane and this face, right? So that creates curves along, right? So that's that, and then we do a sketch on this face, right? On this face right here, we do a sketch. So this is a triangle with a curved base. So this curved base is basically an offset of this base here, of this circle, offset to here by any amount basically, right? It's 3 here, right? So offset, and then I trimmed out all the rest that I didn't need. So you get this triangle with a curved base, right? 90 degrees and then 6. So at this point you can mess around with these dimensions. You don't have to use exactly mine, but you can mess around with these dimensions to however you see fit. But do make sure that it is centered through the middle, right? Make sure these are symmetric. This is a symmetry symbol in Onshape. You make sure they are symmetric, and yeah, you'll be fine. Let me hide this part so you can see the sketch properly, right? So you can probably tell what I'm trying to do already, right? So I'm trying to do a loft. I think a loft in this case, right, to a point. That's what I'm trying to do. So let me exit out the sketch, and then right, so I had to split the curve, and it's wonderful that Onshape allows you split pretty much anything. Well, not pretty much anything, but at least allows you split a curve, right? This is curve 3, and you can see that curve 3 is a combination of these two curves, right? So but I don't want the two curves, because when selecting the curve for my loft or sweep, it would select both of them, and that will result in an error or a problem. So I just want one half of the curve, so I had to split the curve, right? And how I did that was split with the front plane, which is fantastic. So Onshape allows you to split parts, surfaces, or curves, right? Which is pretty neat, right? So I was able to split the curve, so I could just have just this guy. So let me quickly change the color of this, so you can easily visualize it. Let me say red. So yeah, this is my initial sketch in red, and this is my curve. So now I'm going to do a loft. Right, here we go. Let me hide this. Alright, so this is a loft, and it's a lofted cut, right? So remove, right? And then it is the sketch, right? Or these two faces, or the sketch, whichever one you choose. And then I'm lofting to this, the vertex, right? The vertex of my curve, very, very top point right there. And this is very important. I didn't use guides and continuity. I used a path, right? And then I selected the curve as my path, and that's how I basically created that loft cut, right? And then I patterned that across the faces. So let's see how that worked. So feature pattern, then any circular axis, I use this, you could use this, you could use any of the circular axes around you, and 15 instances, 360 degrees. Make sure you tick reapply features, or it will not work, right? And make sure equal spacing is ticked as well, and then you click OK. So this is what we have, right? This by itself looks fine, but you'd notice that from the image, which should appear on your screen now, you can see on the product that it sort of has like some kind of sharp edge or feel to it. So I needed to try and solve that, and how I did that was with one feature, a delete face. Right, so I selected those gaps in between those faces and just deleted them, and then select the option heal, and that removes them. So you can see the transition. Right, this face, these were the faces I selected. Yeah, and then with delete face it turns to this. So this is a lot sharper, right? That could probably help with, you know, squeezing the juices out a bit more, right? And yeah, next thing is so next I fillet. I think this is just some random sketch I did. Let me see. Let me suppress this. Yeah, it's probably just some you know, floating sketch. It's not really connected to anything. Right. So next thing is a fillet on these faces here. This one, and this one, in preparation for the shell. And we do the shell. Alright, so this is our shell, and yeah, you can kind of see why we decided to go with a solid first, because that would pretty much help us have like even thickness around when we now do a shell. So before the shell, I think I would like to add a fillet. I generally like to add my fillets before the shell, so I think I should do that as well in this case. Let's see. Okay, and that, you know, that produces the fillet on the outside too. And what that does is, when you do your fillet before your shell, is it gives it, you know, even thickness all around, which is important for, you know, plastic part design, you know, injection molding and all the rest. So you know, I think I did some small fillets here. This is a variable fillet, right? So I have to select all of those edges, and then at the very tip they are zero. They have zero radius, but as they go down to the end, they all have a radius of 1 mm at the very end, right? So that's how variable fillet works, right? And so since this fillet is a very small one, I think I can afford to keep it, you know, before the shell, right? And another fillet here, and yeah, what else? Okay, and then finally we have this grooves, or these holes. I think I need to edit that because we have an error. Let's see. and let's move this back a bit to like 35. Okay, that's too much. Let's make it 38. Okay, I think that's fine. So that cutout is where all your juices would flow, where all the juice would flow into the bottom pan, right? So we cut that out and we pattern that. So let's select another axis. I think we have these errors because I had done this fillet right here after, so I now decided to change it to before. So so we have this, and this is it. We are done with the juicer itself, and it looks very nice.